to all right, cool. Welcome to another installment of Roll for Revelry. We are officially live in-person play.
Woo!
Very excited to do that. We are in our studio, as you can tell. We have a nice gray drab backstop, which I'll be honest, it looks good. I'm very excited for. I think we all are. I have with me Lindsay and Gina. Lindsay, who, if you want to introduce yourself and your character real quick.
Yeah, I'm Lindsay, and I will be playing Orla Bitterfoot, who is a bard frost gnome. And today we're really just doing her whole backstory from level 1 through 5,
Yep.
I think is what we're doing today. I'm so excited.
Cool. And then Gina, we're gonna get to your character, but if you want to say hi at least and say what's up, go nuts. Feel free.
Hi, I'm Gina.
Awesome. So, yes, we took actually Gina's character Narnip, and we took Dan's character Marxus. It's like you have to remember like 8 names instead of just 4. And we took them through their levels 1 through 5. When we started the campaign, everybody was at level 5, and we really liked kind of starting at the higher level. Our last campaign, we ended at around 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of allows us to explore greater numbers, greater levels. And we did these kind of little mini one-shots, taking characters from their level 1 to 3 to 5, kind of exploring their backgrounds and allowing a lot of things that Lindsay herself made up about her background. And then these kinds of things also take part in the world and add to the world building. And that was a huge aspect that we really had fun with.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we will set the scene of Orla Bitterfoot, our bard gnome. That's a well-cherished and apparently acclaimed leader of the group. As that's a
What was said
Yeah,
in the
apparently.
last campaign, it shocked me a little bit.
this campaign. I think they were.
Oh, this campaign, I mean like the last session.
Yeah, that was
Last episode,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
So, without further ado, if you'd like to explain where Orla comes from a little bit, and a little bit about her background, and what she's doing in these, in her place of origin, and why she's leaving, and where she's, what's home.
Yeah. So Orla is the youngest of 7. She has a very large family. And she grew up in the caves of one of the largest mountains in the southern continent. Orla was 18, and I was super adventurous, and I ended up leaving home in search for a much grander life because I felt that there was definitely more out there to be explored. And I was really big into discovering other cultures and things like that. I grew up in the Morales Mountains. And when I did leave, I was able to kind of like navigate those mountains really easily just because of I grew up in the area. And just my heritage in general gave me like a lot of advantage in being able to, start my new life and my adventure. So in the Morales Mountains, like my village was really created by the means of out of necessity as like a group of frost gnomes. We fled to the mountains where we initially derived from as really means of escape from the emergence. So when that happened, we kind of had to go back to our original native place just to be able to be safe and continue our lives. It was really way before me anyways, so I didn't live through that, but like my ancestors did, and they were definitely stories that were told throughout the time of me growing up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we meet back up with Orla as she sets out on her adventure, leaving home for the first time. You are walking through the Morales Mountains. you have you see the kind of alpine region of the mountains as some still snow going on, but you've now there's trees, there's actually vegetation. It's not so high that you are absolutely void of any life or anything like that. But you're walking through the alpine and subalpine regions. There's kind of warmer weather than you're particularly used to for home. Pine forests, occasionally small animals. There's beginnings of rivers that are flowing down, kind of this creation of what's trickling away. Roll a perception check for me.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Let's start with the green one today. Hopefully it'll give me good luck. Oh! Nat 20 on a first roll.
That's your first roll ever as Orla Bitterfoot.
That sets the bar.
Yeah, chronologically speaking, anyway. So that's helpful.
So, Nat 20 for a 22.
All right, Nat 20 for a 22. So you hear off in the small distance a yipping, and you hear this creature that seems to be afraid or scared in some way.
Shit.
You have this relationship with the animals around you, and in the mountains, you've as a frost gnome, you kind of have these talents to be able to kind of work with the animals around you. You hear this yipping, and what would you like to do?
I would like to try to stealthily as possible come up to the area where I hear the noise coming
Roll a
from.
stealth check.
All right. Don't let me down. 8.
8. As you walk through the woods towards this yipping sound, you hear crunch, crunch, crunch. Trying to be as stealthy as you can, but the snow, it has this tendency. Normally, you're used to walking on ice, but when you're walking on this snow, it has that.
Since I am a frost gnome, could I do this with advantage because I grew up in the...
Because you are where you
Yes, where I was raised, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yes. Oh, okay, let's try that one.
What, you can't try it multiple times?
Well, it fell out of my hand. It fell.
Alright, what was your...
Okay, did the camera see that?
No, because we don't
Okay, this is much better.
Oh, we do?
17.
Alright, even better.
17.
See, now you're like on camera, the rolls are live. There's no more.
It dropped from this hand to this hand as I went to go in there.
That's just flair then at that
No.
point. That's a flourish and then your dice roll. I'm sorry, what was your new
17.
total? 17.
Okay.
So, crunch, crunch, crunch. And as you creep into this small clearing, yeah. So you notice a wolf in the clearing who seems to be growling at this small enclosed grotto, this little tiny den. Make a perception check for me.
Oh, okay, now I'm gonna...
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry. I don't know what's
It's
happening.
like you've never
12,
rolled the dice before.
14.
There's a whole clearing area for your
I
little
know,
dice rolling
I
on
know.
your player pad.
I'm just too excited and too
Okay,
aggressive.
yeah, that's fair.
I'm
Sure,
sorry.
I'll
I'll dial it back.
chill. All right, so you have. I'm trying to remember where my information is for your little situation here. Cool. So
Situation?
yeah, it's definitely a situation. Did you hear the music change?
Good. Oh my god.
So you see a wolf growling and creeping towards this den. Your perception check, what was the roll?
12, so 14.
14.
Mhm.
You notice a small creature that seems to be white and then in a dark backdrop. crowded back into the back of this small den in fear of the wolf that is approaching. What would you like to do?
Oh God. Okay. Let me look at my spells. Not much. Let me look at my equipment. A whistle stick. Well, that sounds really interesting.
As any whistle stick would.
I think I'm gonna go up to the wolf and try to intimidate it with. I'm very small, but I'm gonna try to puff up my chest and be as big as I can, and as loud as I can, and scary as I can to scare it away.
What do you do for your loud as you can?
I'm gonna growl really loud.
What does that sound like? Ooh, all right. I'm scared. Roll an intimidation check for me.
Oh no. 7.
As you let out this trilling growl, the wolf catches your attention and looks over at you and bares its teeth. And you notice that this wolf doesn't look like an ordinary wolf that you've seen before. Its eyes are black. There's a foam building up around its mouth. Its tufts of fur are patched out. One of its ears is missing an enormous chunk out of it, and it now has your attention.
Right.
Stepping closer and closer to you.
I am going to do a. I'm going to use my. Why is this one use? I have nothing.
Did you pick your equipment? You should have some.
I do have a dagger and a rapier.
Your armor too. Leather. Attach that so you have your.
Oh, okay.
Attach all that stuff so you can have it.
Attach. Dagger.
What are you doing? Stepping closer and closer.
I am going to.
It recoils back.
I'm gonna.
Ready to lunge. Roll for initiative.
Fuck. 17.
The wolf, or as you put it, woof, also rolled a 17. What is your dexterity?
Like my.
What's your dex score or your dex modifier?
That's the plus.
Yeah.
2.
+2. Roll initiative. Actually, never mind. My roll, whatever you're gonna roll, is better than roll initiative. Roll a d20 right now. Get out of here.
I'm sorry.
Tell the world what you rolled.
I rolled a nat 1.
So I rolled for the wolf, and it rolled a natural 2. So the wolf lunges at you and leaps. Taking a bite. Does a 21 hit.
Yeah.
Cool. It takes a bite at you and tears away at your left shoulder, dealing 3 damage.
Whoo! Any damage is a lot of damage at this point.
Make a strength saving throw for me.
20.
As it was attempted to bite at you and pounce you back, you're able to sidestep it, and it bites. This is the 3 damage. It bites your shoulder, and you kind of swing it around. And despite how small you are, you stand on your feet. You are not knocked prone.
Thank God. I'm gonna shoot my ray of frost at it.
It is your turn, so you can do that.
I have 1 use.
Roll for an attack.
11 plus 4, so 15.
It hits.
And then I do 1d8.
That one in your
This
hand.
one. 3 damage.
3 damage. All right. Where's my little pencil? Okay. love that I don't need to have like my weird little chicken scratch anymore because you guys can't see my stuff anymore. We'll talk about that in our hangover. Okay, so the wolf, as you blast this hereditary ray of frost that has been in your family for generations, the wolf takes a hit to its side and yelps in pain, but then steps back for you and looks somehow even angrier.
Great.
As it is about to pounce at you, you see a small creature, tinier than you are, that seems to be a light blue mist in a humanoid form, holding a stick, jump out and smacks the wolf on the top of the head with its stick, and two more jump out as a second wolf approaches from behind, growling, and you see yourself now standing in between the den, two wolves, with three of these small mist-like creatures of some kind. Roll a history check. See if you've ever encountered these little beings before.
7.
You've never encountered them. You've heard stories of the spirits of the snow and spirits of the forests and that kind of thing, but you've never actually encountered one. And you've always thought they have been fairy tales of some kind.
I'm just standing there in awe, like, with a lot of adrenaline pumping through me because I was just bit by a wolf.
Correct. You see these creatures with their stick standing in between you, and they look over at you, and one taps your leg with its stick and casts guidance. You have a D4. Oh wait, maybe not. It's resistance. That's what I was trying to say. You have a D4 that you can add to any of your saving throws of your choice
Okay. Nice.
for the next minute.
Okay, so I can do it for a couple times. Amazing.
These little creatures now standing in between you and this wolf. The wolves are going to pounce on the little tiny creatures. And you see one bite at it, and it hops out of the way, smacks the wolf on the top of the head, letting out a weird little high-pitched. These little creatures are helping you defend the tiny being in the den.
Why do they remind me of Ewoks?
They're small.
Oh
They're
my
like
God.
so. You're probably what? Like how tall is Orla?
Oh, she's tiny.
She's like what? 3
3
foot?
feet? Yeah.
3 foot?
Yeah.
These things are maybe a foot tall.
Oh my God.
They're not only small, but they're equally adorable.
I love this.
The wolf getting knocked in the head, but the second wolf pounces, bites down on one of the creatures, and you see the small creature evaporate into a cloud of snow. As it erupts into this frosty cloud, and the swirls of the snow kind of flow away and settle, and it has been destroyed.
Oh.
It is now your turn.
Okay. How close am I to these wolves right now?
You're probably about 5, 10. You're probably about 10 feet away from them as they're encroaching on you.
So I would like to run up to the closest one and try to attack it with my dagger.
With your dagger?
Yeah.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
19.
19 hits.
So I take 1d4 plus 2. So 3 damage again.
3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to stab the dagger into the wolf as it lunges at you and you tilt it over. It is down. It is gone as you kind of lean back over, your dagger bloodied as you approach and look back at the second wolf. Just then you see these small little creatures start running, and they're still between you and the wolf, but they start trying to focus their energies elsewhere. And they're jabbing away at the wolf, trying to coax it away now that it is alone. And that's going to be their turn because they don't really do any damage or attack. They're just kind of spirits of the
Distract.
of the world,
Yeah,
of
gotcha.
nature. All right, and then now this wolf is going to go, and seeing that the two are on either side of it, it's going to take the opportunity and lunge at you. It's going to attack with a bite attack of 18. It hits. And it deals 5 damage.
I'm low.
Make a strength saving throw. And you have your D4 guidance.
Thank God, because. What's my strength at? Is it up top?
Should be your
Yeah.
saving throw. Just
Oh God. So I'm -2. This is really bad.
You're -2 for your strength saving throw.
Where's my saving throw?
That one right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So 5.
5. It does not beat the strength DC of 10. It is now pouncing on you, knocked prone. You are knocked on the ground as it lunged at you. It's not holding you down. You're not restrained, but it knocked you over. It is now your turn.
I'm going to lunge at it with my dagger.
So you're going to spend half your movement to get up onto your feet.
Oh, okay.
And then you still have, 15, 10 feet of your... We're all in this,
Yeah.
It's a small area. So you're
Yeah.
going to lunge at it with your dagger.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any other weapons?
Why do you keep asking me?
Because I know you have other weapons.
So I have a rapier.
Oh, would you like to attack with that? Or
Is that
attack?
more? Yeah, that is fine.
All right. Hey, you want to attack with a dagger? I'm not telling you how to play. I'm just trying to allow you to.
So I'm gonna
explore your
take
character.
my rapier out as I'm coming towards it, and
Give it the old stabberoo.
yes.
All right. Make an attack roll.
Oh. 7.
It does not hit. You lunge, and the wolf is able to dodge out of the way. This one, too, has black eyes and a foam coming out of its mouth. And now that you're closer to it, you can see that this foam and this drool has a black, brackish kind of mentality to it, and it seems like unnatural. And I don't know how you'd know it's brackish, but it's brackish. I don't like that word. Which means like salty, but I don't know why that's. I think that weirdly makes it worse.
Wait, it says proficiency. Am I proficient in a rapier?
I believe so.
Let's see what the rapier allows you to add your proficiency bonus to the attack roll for any attack you make with it. But what is not?
What was your roll?
It was a 7.
I'll tell you right now, your proficiency bonus won't add to that. It's
Okay.
+2 right now.
Okay, so it
It'll
wouldn't even
still
get.
miss.
It'll still miss.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll still miss.
just wanted to cover all my bases.
Yeah,
just
no.
in case.
Well, where I get.
Because I'm about
Sure.
to get fucked up.
Bring it on. So, it is now the small spirits of the forest's turn, and they are going to look over to you, and they are going to. What are they going to do? Oh my goodness. Give me one moment. What you doing over there?
Yeah, what are you coloring?
Got an adult coloring book. Dan, thank you very much for putting all this together in our
Yeah.
studio now. I think we're all very excited to have a grand old time with this. You look over and one of these small creatures puts up a bubble in between you, all three of you, the two creatures and yourself, and in between this wolf, just as the wolf lunges and bites down at you. And it does not break this shielded bubble
Thank God.
as it bites and attacks you. All right. That was their turn. That was the wolf's turn, and you are up.
All right. So can I throw things through this barrier?
Yeah, it's a reaction that they did.
Okay.
it's just,
So now it's
one
gone
time.
again.
Yep.
I'm gonna go at it with my rapier again.
Okay.
So
Yeah, attack roll. You know the gist.
14.
14. Is there not a modifier for your attack roll?
I don't know even what my +2. So
What are actions?
oh.
Your rapier says +4.
Ooh,
So
18.
18. Stab. And as you stab, roll for damage.
6.
Will you please describe the last moments of this wolf's life?
I run at it with like a loud "Ah!" and slash its throat.
All right. As you slash its throat, the wolf falls back and falls to its side. The combat is over. What would you like to do?
I'm going to think. Are the little creatures still there?
Yeah.
I'm gonna thank them for helping me.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay. 16.
Okay. You're thanking them, and they gesture towards the den.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them walks up to you and jumps onto the other's shoulders so that they're about your height or getting up there, reaches up to your forehead, like reaches up and you press your forehead down on him, and you know that there's some kind of magical thing going on here.
Mhm.
So you like walk up to it and they give you their Fey blessing, and you gain the feat of Fey blessing, which gives you Misty Step, and it gives you, what's your other one that you have?
Oh, it was let's see.
Regardless, I'll look it up and tell you what they give you. But yeah, so they give you their blessing, and then after a moment, you see them get down, and you look back over to the den, and then you look back to them, and they're gone.
So is it Fey touched? Is my feet?
I will. It's in your normal
Oh, okay.
account, or it's in your normal thing already. I'll get here in a second.
Okay.
So what would you like to do?
I'm going to walk up to the den.
Okay. Make
I'm gonna
an
do
investigation
yeah.
check.
8.
You walk up to the den and you see this creature that is still seems to be scared and cowering in the back. So what would you like to do?
I'm gonna see if I have any. If I have any rations. I have 5. I'm gonna take one out and kind of break it up a little bit and like lead a little trail.
What are
out.
gnome rations look like? What did you take from home? What kind of food do you eat up there?
I-
What did you pack for the road.
Oh gosh, you gotta think like it's winter. What grows in cold climates?
You tell me. It can be anything. This is a fantasy world.
It is. I think I took a lot of vegetables,
Okay.
like carrots, and I took potatoes and hearty stuff.
Root
Yes.
vegetables.
Root vegetables.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stew vegetables.
Yes.
Stew and vegetables. All right,
Exactly.
cool. You take your stew and veg and you lay it out for the creature. And as you see this creature step forward, you notice it's a small canine-like being. But as it steps, you notice it steps closer and closer to you, out of the cavern and into the snow. And you notice the outline of the creature and its coloration changes to the snow's color as it steps out from the dark browns that are the cave and into the snow. A wave of white covers it, so it is camouflaged in the snow at this time. You'd imagine that this creature has some form of active camouflage and can maneuver and make its color different to its background. Fade Touched, Dissonant Whispers, and Misty Step.
And I do that in Manage Feats.
Yep. Fade Touched Charisma specifically.
Let me go down to here. Manage Feats, and then Fade Touched.
Yep.
Charisma. Right? You
Yeah.
said? Okay. What was the other one? Misty Step?
And Dissonant Whispers.
Ooh, yeah.
If you want to go ahead and level up your character as well,
Dissonant
we're
Whispers
going to
is
pick back
not
up
on here.
No, you go to Fade Touched.
I did.
Hit the drop down menu.
Oh.
There you go. If you want to go ahead and level up your character, we're going to take a brief 5-minute break. Level up Orla Bitterfoot to level 3, and we will be back very, very briefly with level 3 and what she does when she's gonna kind of come down from the mountain and find some civilization. So please stick around with us. We're just going to take a very, very brief break. Thank you.
welcome back.
to Roll for Revelry. My name's AJ, your friendly neighborhood DM, and we are walking Orla Bitterfoot, the gnome bard of the group, through her first 5 levels. This is something that we did kind of to catch anybody up on their backstories. Normally it's been through with just the one-on-one D&D play, but because we're in our awesome studio now, we wanted to have more people, the more the merrier. So we have actually, Dan is behind the screens right now, kind of regulating and figuring out everything else like that. And then Gina is joining us and going to make a cameo, I guess, as a character that is going to be a part of Orla's backstory. And with that, both of them are with that. No, is that what I say?
That said.
That said,
That said.
never mind. That said,
And is Gina
we-
being a non-player character?
she's playing. Yeah,
I
she's playing an NPC. She's playing a non-player character.
played NPC.
But the cool part about this kind of stuff is it gives a really cool option for characters to flesh out their backstory. It's a little selfish on my part, but I feel like you guys are more interested in your own backstories because of it.
Mhm.
Because we played through this, and it's not just like a few paragraphs that are written.
Uh-huh.
I think that adds to it, and I think you care more about your characters because you've gone through these things and kind of had these adventures, and it's not just I was from this town and this and this and this happened. So this is a cool option for us to kind of explore character backstories.
Yeah.
That said, we will be meeting back up with Orla Bitterfoot as she walks through the streets of Evan Harbor, the closest coastal town to Hilo. Oh, I'm good.
Okay. Whatever.
We're good.
You covered me. Sorry.
Um,
I ruined it.
Evan Harbor? Is that a brewing company or something? Evan Harbor? Oh, okay, cool.
Oh.
No. I was asking you if you needed another rebellious beverage.
No, I took that that beer over there. I almost said I took that dirty blonde, but I feel like that sounded weird.
Also, can't say that. Yeah.
Bitterfoot.
I'm just it was a dirty blonde ale. It's called Dirty Blonde. It's a beer. Google it. So welcome. We meet with Orla Bitterfoot walking the streets of Evan Harbor. And Evan Harbor has this very cultural feel. The streets are all very small. The blocks are small. There's probably 3 or 4 buildings on each block. And it seems continuous throughout the entire districts of Evan Harbor, which is just on the coast. We're now probably northeast of your mountain, the Morales Mountain that you've come from, and now you've made your way through the rest of the nature and the wilderness, and come to civilization for. Is it the first time that you've visited any of these cities? So Orla Bitterfoot meet civilization.
Yes.
What would you like to do in this city for the first time?
I want to kind of just walk around and like take it all in and
Cool. Roll a perception check.
okay. 12 plus 3, so 15.
As you're walking around, you notice that there are handfuls of very bright, colorful banners that are hanging from the double-story buildings off to your left and right, walking these cobblestone streets. There are individuals that are performing in the streets with brass instruments and string instruments, and not just, rudimentary, but very elaborate scores of songs that others are joining in on. There are restaurants and bars around, lining left and right. There are colorful carts and individuals selling wares out on the street, not only to any passerby, but they've also kind of built into the structures in the buildings on either side of the street. As you walk further and further, they're deeper and deeper into the city. That seems to be an everlasting group of these types of streets. It seems to be a cultural hub. This is it's not a huge city, but there's an enormous amount of culture in it, and there's so many foods, so many drinks, so much music, and so many different types of people in all one area. You are 3 feet tall. Describe your character real quick for me. What does she look like? What does Orla Bitterfoot look like?
So her skin is really pale since she lives in the mountains, and it's cold there. It's kind of like how.
Like a pale white?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has purple hair naturally, and it's locked.
Okay.
She has like these little gems that are like in her hair as well.
Cool.
And then she has like frost like white or like not white but frost like blue eyes.
Okay. What do those gems represent in Frost Gnomish culture? Or do they represent anything? Or is it just a stylistic approach?
I think it's just a stylistic approach, but it's definitely something that has been passed down. Like my
Those
my
are
grandmother
same
did it.
gems.
Exactly.
All
Yeah.
right.
So it's like it's a cultural thing for us. I don't think it serves a purpose more than just like an aesthetic thing. You know.
Does the Frost Gnome are their locks shaven when they pass so that those gems are accessible?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Sure. If Orla Bitterfoot ever dies, then you guys
Have to cut my locks
have to cut
off.
her hair and pass on her gems to her kin.
Don't let me die.
Yeah.
Firstly, but
Yeah, step 1.
Yeah.
But step 2 is important
yes, it is.
too. So what would Orla Bitterfoot like to do in this new city full of culture and full of flavor?
She's like walking around like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, but more in awe, like of this.
More in awe and less graceful with carts.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like taking it in and spinning around and like smelling things. So Orla is a little
Make
bit
a
of
performance.
Okay. Oh, thank God it's +8. 11.
11.
Yeah.
You are belling about to your best, and it seems you kind of get into some people's way,
I'm sure.
and you're like, hello, 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 and people are like, shut it. Oh. But you get some people are like, hello back, and there are a handful of nice people with a higher role. Maybe people would be a little bit more understanding of your delight. But please continue.
So as being a bard too, like my family they were all bards. So like it was, I have a lute that was passed down from my grandfather to me.
Very cool.
So music is like my way of just connecting with everything and everybody.
Do you have a description for this lute? What is this? Is there any stylistic aspect of this lute that is different than a normal lute?
It's hand painted. I mean, it's handmade.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say painted. It's like engraved. So there's like very naturistic looking vines and stuff like that. That's
Very cool.
kind of engraved on it, and yeah.
I will say, and we'll save that for that.
What?
I just wanted to say, like, I don't know if there's a lot of factories that are making lutes. So I feel like everything in this world is
It's handcrafted, right? But that's why I
Handcrafted
said
in
that was
some
just giving more of like the visual. You know what I mean? Of
Yeah, no, for sure. I get it. Okay, so you are you're walking down the street. What do you want to do?
I want to, because I am drawn to music. I want to see, or I want to hear if there's anything that is like catching my ear specifically
Make a
as I'm
perception check.
walking around, 15, 18.
18. You hear music, and you hear a song that is particularly alluring from a tavern nearby.
I'm gonna walk towards it.
All right. As you walk towards it, you hear this song, and it is jaunty and charismatic and fun and clever. And as you walk in, as you walk by, you see an individual performing on the street. They are They have a royal blue skin tone with silver tattoos running up and down their arms and across their chest. And they have an open shirt. There is slick black hair with two horns twisted and running back. They're playing a violin. And Gina, would you like to introduce your character?
Yes. It's more of a fiddle in this context than a violin.
All right.
But Cyros is playing his fiddle, singing, "Almost home, West Cyrillos, big old mountains, quite large river, life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze, country roads, take me home to the place I belong." And at this point, the crowd joins in and goes, "West Cyrillos, mountain mama, take me home, country roads."
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Applaud break. We're breaking for you. You better be applauding.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, cool.
Yep.
You finish your set, and as you, Cyros,
Yep.
kind of pick up your coinage, you pick up 2 gold and 6 silver.
Nice.
And you are outside of a tavern. And it's a tavern that you are familiar with. And you know the proprietor. You see a young Frostnell walking by with her family loot on her back. What would you like to?
Excuse me, lass. That loot. It's quite fetching.
And I'm just like, thank you. That was a great song.
Thank you. I love instruments. Would you be interested in having a pint with me and telling me a little bit more about your lute?
Oh my god. Yes, I would love to.
Great. Let's go. I know the people here. Let's go have a drink.
Yes. I feel like I just met a celebrity. Like, I'm just like so in awe of this person.
I think you did.
Yes. So we
So you
go
guys
in.
walk in,
Mhm.
Yep.
and there is it's a typical tavern. There is a stage off to the left, but there's a current a comedian using it at the time. A large orc with particularly large tusks, telling a good joke or two up there with his tusks often interfering with the jokes of some kind. So,
Tell us a joke, good orc.
oh, good. Remember that time I was unprepared for everything?
Hey, remember the time you always put us on the spot?
Well, why do bees have sticky hair?
I don't know why.
Because they've got honeycombs. And that's what you get when you Google joke.
That's funny.
Top choice.
That was a good one.
So, what would you approach the bar together, and there are 2 seats, and you sit down next to each other, I assume.
Mhm.
What would you like to, what's up? What are you guys doing?
I flagged down the bartender and asked 2 pints for me and this lovely lass.
Yes, please. That'd be great. And I really haven't drank that much, you know. Like, I've had some stuff, like, from my family.
I don't
like,
know. I mean,
things
what is
that they make, and-
gnome drinking culture like? This is the world building stuff, so you can determine right now.
It's more been imported, but it's more like red wine because that and bourbon and stuff like that because it keeps us. I know it's very two different things, but it's things that like warm us up a lot. You know, like we don't have to necessarily get warm because we're resistant to the cold, but that's more of like when we did start trading a little bit more, like our family did. That's just kind of like what we started getting. It's like more of a red plum wine and bourbon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those mountain plums.
I said traded, so it came in.
Doesn't matter.
Sure.
You can make mountain plums.
Sure.
That's the
Yes.
thing. A mountain plum tree,
Sounds
higher
amazing.
sugar content because it's colder.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah. Let's do it. It's just,
Amazing.
the world's all just made up anyway, guys. So as you take your seats, you hear, what do you call gluten-free noodles? Impasta. So you sit down.
And I'm sitting and I'm very confused because I've never heard of gluten before, being a frost gnome that is living in this world. Never heard of it.
All right. So what are you guys doing as you sit down? Because otherwise,
I'm
you're
really
just gonna
nervous.
Keep listening to the comedian.
Yeah.
It can go as long as you want.
I've never seen somebody with such stunning eyes. Where are you from? Tell me about yourself.
I came from the Morelos Mountains, and I just have big dreams of exploring the world, and so I wanted to come this way, and this is where I ended up, and I saw you, and heard your beautiful voice and your amazing skills using your not violin, I'm sorry, viol. Yes.
Whatever you guys want.
That's what it's called.
I know.
It is
but
a
I'm just
viol,
saying,
yeah.
Like, you can call it whatever you want.
I'm really drawn to music, so once I heard your song, I mean, you just have such a captivating voice.
Thank you. Do you sing with your lute?
I do, yes. I grew up singing. My family they're musicians and bards, and they've told story. Like that's what we do. Is like we're storytellers, and I take my lute out and I say, this was my grandpa made this. I know, isn't it beautiful?
It's the only thing that rivals that lute's beauty is you. You have to perform once the comedian is done.
You really think so?
Yes.
I haven't really done much performing outside of my town. Haven't even been outside of my town much. So, okay, yeah, I can do it.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a song prepared like you did, so.
As the comedian's finishing his set, he goes, well, everybody has always told me to break a leg, but for the most part, all my plays, I've been part of the cast.
That was a really good.
What are you doing, guys?
That was
He bows and leaves the stage. Thank God. I will close that window. So, what as the stage is clear, what are you doing?
I'm gonna walk up to the stage with my lute in my hand, and is there like a stool up there that I can
Sure.
grab and sit down? Okay, so I grab like a stool and I pull it up and I'm right in
Is
front
it
of the
facing
mic.
forward or do you turn it around back?
It's facing forward.
Okay.
I hate that.
Yeah. What would you like to do?
So if there's a microphone, I'm gonna like tap on it or whatever, and I'm gonna be very
There's
like,
not a microphone.
okay,
There's no electricity.
this is your world that we're
Yeah, I'm
living
just saying.
in. So
I'm
okay.
letting you know.
Okay, so I'm really nervous, and I just like take a few strums and clear my throat, and
I love that I looked over at your screen and it just says Google.
And I start strumming and I say, now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there and tell you how I became. Oh, hang on. Where are we at now?
What? In the city?
Yeah. What's
Oh,
the city
I
called?
was like in the song? I don't
No,
know.
no,
People
no. What
thinking
is the
Evan Harbor.
and tell you how I became up in this town of Evan Harbor.
All right.
That's my
Roll a performance check.
okay. 15 plus 8.
15 plus 8. 23
Mhm.
is what you okay. So yeah, it's great. People love it. Then and as you say, Evan Harbor, it's like it's everybody erupts. It's like hip hop football rule. Like, people shout and everybody's cheering and you see an orc with too big of tusks lean over next to Ciro's. She's pretty great. um, what are you guys doing?
I take a bow and I walk up the stage and go right up to my new friend and I say, okay, I did it. That felt pretty good. Felt pretty good. Like, I did it.
That was amazing. That was your first time performing?
Well, yeah, outside of my village that I grew up in, like,
Took my breath away.
thank you.
Calls for another round. Drinks
right.
all around.
Yeah.
So as you call for another round of drinks, you sit down with the rest of your troop, and you notice a table with Ciros. Next to him is a too long of tusked half orc that has a little bit of a lisp, but is extremely funny in most situations. Because of his tusks, he's got that little bit of a lisp. And then there is an old woman that as you sit down, she grabs your hand and her eyes go white. She goes, I got nothing. I gotta deal the cards first. Hold on. And she starts dealing cards and hands them out. Grabs your hand again. She goes, God, I'm not very good at this. Maybe you'll meet some cool people in the future. Yeah. You will meet some great people in the future. And one will be, I don't know, a cat. Maybe a dragon. Who knows?
Are you a fortune teller?
Yes. Yes, I am. Thank you. I've been at it for 6 months.
Wow. You're really good at it.
Yes, well, as a person my age, I would imagine I've got some wisdom. And she's like 70 and change. She's an old woman that's very into her newfound hobby.
That's amazing. And I'm just like in awe of this person.
Um,
I've never met someone who could read futures.
At the table, there is a female tiefling with red skin, shorter spiked horns, and she looks over at you and she's just, well, your performance was okay, I guess.
Thank you.
Yes, well, I believe there's been better this evening, but someone tells me this is your first time, so I believe you've done okay.
That means a lot.
There's always room for improvement.
You're right. Always.
There's a short male, black eyes, balding. He's like, it was magnificent! What do you mean, Badia? This is a prodigy! Scene. Yeah, it's pretty okay. Yeah, you did a pretty good job.
Thank you. You're quite the actor.
Yes, well, when you've been on stage in front of all of Cyrilos, looks over to Badia, and Badia says, I don't know, you're not in a scene right now. He goes, when you've been on stage of all of Cyrilos, that's all you can ask of a man. And scene.
Bravo.
This is the troop of Cyros. In front of you.
And I'm
What
just
would
gonna
you
sit down and be
like
like
to do?
smiling and just like taking it all in, drinking my ale. I must like ask everyone. So how long have you been here? Are all of you from here? Are you? Did you just end up here? Like me?
Roll a d6.
6.
Roll a d6 again.
6.
Roll a d6 again. It's only 5.
5.
All right, cool. Cyros, do you want to? Or no, actually, the list that I have is on Cyros is number 5. You go, well, we've been here for a few weeks, and it's pretty great. We've had some great shows, and we've been basically hopping down the block from bar to bar. A lot of people have seen us again and again, but maybe that's because we're on the same block. I'd imagine there's a better area that we can look at. So, what have you been doing around these areas?
I just got here. I'm not from these parts. I'm from the Morelos Mountains, and I wanted to explore the world. You guys seem pretty traveled. Like
Roll a d6.
1.
He goes, well, the road less not taken. The road not taken less is the road better traveled.
That is deep.
Yes, I wrote it myself.
You all are so talented. I can't believe that I've stumbled upon like these you people like this. I'm just so lucky.
Roll d6.
4.
Like to respond.
I would say we're the lucky ones tonight to have met you and to have seen you perform. Tell me, what are your ambitions? I know you said traveling, but how do you intend to fund your travels?
I didn't really think about that. You know, I was just kind of going with the flow and gonna see what was gonna happen, you know. But I thought I'd play some of my music, you know, and catch a few bucks and kind of go from there and just explore things that I've never seen before. Yeah, that was really my initial thought. So I guess that's all I got. And then until I met you guys. And then I think, I don't know. Do you mind if I hang around?
I would love if you hung
And I just like melt into myself.
around. I don't know.
So, you begin traveling with this troop, which is what's the name, Gina, of the troop? So glad you could be a part of this.
Art and cultures.
Art and cultures.
Love that.
So, art and cultures begins to travel, and not soon after, there is a pub in which you, Orla, notice Cyros discussing an issue with one of the patrons of the bar. And it's still in Evan Harbor, and as you guys are kind of getting further away, it's not long after. You've been traveling with them for probably a few days now. Up and down the coast of Evan Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a particular tavern that okay. Well, stop putting stuff up there. It's terribly distracting. There is a particular tavern that Cyros, you notice, kind of is pulled over by a patron that seems to be well protected. There seems to be a few bodyguards around, and he seems to be a malicious sort of some kind. Cyros, you leave them and join back with the group. What would you like to do?
I'm just gonna kind of like stare intently at my pint as I'm like clearly very distressed and see the wheels are turning as I'm like thinking.
I'm gonna go and sit next to Cyros, and at this time, since we've been with you, I've been like I've been part of the group for at least a few days now. Like we've been around each other a while. I can tell that you're bothered, so I'm gonna go up and say, "Hey, what's going on? Seems like there's something that's bothering you."
Oh, nothing to trouble yourself with. Well, I don't know if I don't.
Sorry.
Can I ask this of you yet? I don't know.
I'm indebted to your gratitude. Like, I'm indebted to you guys for allowing me to be a part of this group and for taking me in and giving me this experience.
Mm.
I understand if you feel that you may need to build some more trust, but do know that I am always here.
Oh, it's not that I don't trust you, lass. It's that I don't want to burden you. You spoke of being in debt with us, and my troubles stem from a debt of my own. I don't know if I want... It's not worth troubling.
No. It would be no trouble. I'm here to help.
Do you really want to help?
Oh, yes.
Well... I've heard your music, and you are quite the talented lute player and singer.
Yes.
How are you as an actress?
I think I could put on a good show, right? I mean, playing is about putting an emotion, and that's what acting is, right? But just a different kind of emotion than what you want to portray.
Can you give me a sample of your acting skills? Can you go convince that man over there that you are a wealthy merchant interested in buying his hat?
Absolutely.
As you have never, that's a very rare hat that maybe he does not know what he has.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. So I walk up to this man.
What, is it any man, or is it the individual that you're
No,
speaking?
it's the man over at the other
just
end
a
of the
rando.
bar. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
A rando with like a very nice hat.
There's a felted blue fedora with one strand of white and then another strand of orange that streak past in feather form over the right ear. And he looks over at you. Goes, "What can I help you, little lady?"
So I am going to use enthralling performance.
Okay.
So I can choose up to 4 creatures, but I'm clearly only going to choose one.
Sure.
That is watching and listening to me for up to a minute. They must make a wisdom saving throw of 14, and if they fail, they are charmed for an hour.
Okay.
So I'm going to walk up like really distinguished. Good.
That was distinguished.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
In this world, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say,
I love that that's the answer to everything. Yeah, this world.
excuse me, good sir, that hat that you have on your head,
Yes!
I must have it. I have a hat collection at home, right? And this would absolutely complete it.
Well, okay. Here you are. You're welcome. What do I get out of this? I noticed you had an excellent grace about you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Is there anything else I can do? Needless to say, he failed his wisdom check.
Well, if you have any extra money to spare as well, I would not turn that down.
That makes sense. I'll pay you for my hat.
Thank you.
And he hands you 2 gold.
And then I turn around, I'm like, and I walk over to the table. And I walk over to the table with my new
Are you
earning.
wearing this hat?
Yes.
Okay. So add a felt blue fedora with a orange and white feather to your inventory, please.
Lovely. Of course it did. Add other possessions.
Rod gets around, man.
Blue. Oh my god, it was Rod.
Continue, please. What are you guys doing?
Ooh, blue fedora with what? With an orange stripe?
Orange and white feather. All right.
Wow. How'd you know I was done? That's beautiful. Synchronicity. Okay, let me put 2 gold. And I'm going to walk to the table.
Bravo, Miss Bitterfoot.
And I'm going to bow. Thank you.
Did not think I could become any more infatuated with you than I already was.
And it's like every time that like we have those moments, like in my mind, there's just like I'm in euphoria, you know what I mean? Just like this euphoric state of happiness and love. And I like, hearts like come out of my eyes is what it feels like. And like there's, I don't know, glitter all around. It's like that one moment, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Jetsons movie. Mm-hmm. But like when that guy was like singing in the mall, like the Sky Mall, and like what is it's not Judy, the daughter's name. What is her name? But she was just like so in love with this guy. I think he was blue too. I think he was.
So what are you guys doing in the tavern?
Yeah.
Now that you've proved yourself.
Miss Bitterfoot, have you ever heard of the violin scheme? That music!
It's perfect.
No, I haven't.
Okay. It's quite simple. So what I will need you to do after I go in and leave my like pretty basic violin as collateral for the person that I am in a little bit of debt with.
Mhm.
Nothing to trouble yourself with, but
Okay.
you will come in after I leave. Similarly, as you did with that man and his fedora, you will just be enthralled by this violin, and you can't believe that this person has it because it's worth so much money. And you will see if this individual who I have left my violin with will sell the violin to you.
Okay.
And if he does, then so you are going to say that
Go.
the violin is worth so much money and you'll pay money for it. And if they sell it to you, then you take it and you leave, and I'll come back and I'll be all upset that they sold my violin and it's actually worth so much more money and they were swindled by it, and they either need to repay me the money that the violin was actually worth, or they need to erase my debt. It'd be a huge help.
That's really sweet. I'd be happy to help.
Not just a pretty face.
Genius. You're not.
So you'd be willing to help me?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
So you approach you guys leave that tavern. You approach a bar of ill repute, and a individual is sitting in a booth.
Wait. Hang on just a second. Look at this.
Have you already dropped the violin off?
So I have to do I explained to Cyros before this happens, I say, I do think that I need to rest just for a short while in order for me to be able to have the energy to do this again. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I told him I would be back later this afternoon, so
Perfect.
totally fine.
Cool. So you rest.
Short rest.
Does that regain your enthralling performance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you short rest. And as you approach the as you approach the I forgot where I put the name of the bar. As you approach the Best Foul Inn, you notice it is a little divier than the most of the taverns and pubs that you've been a part of. You walk in, and it is dimly lit. There is a individual sitting in a booth that is even less lit, if possible. There is a violin on the table in front of him, and a few candles, and a couple individuals standing around him that seem to be protection of some sort. There is a bar. There are a few individuals that look particularly seedy as patrons of the bar, sitting around at tables by the fireplace at the bar. A handful of them. You walk into the Best Foul Inn. What would you like to do?
I immediately cast enthralling performance.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you see my eyes get wide because I see that violin. And I run up to it and I say, "Good sir, I must have this violin. This is a Mach 3000.
Make a performance.
You must
check.
give this to
Okay.
me. I must have it. It must be in my possession. I've been looking for this for years." 17 plus 8, so 25.
25. He goes, well,
He also has to make a DC of 14 for wisdom.
he goes, well, who exactly are you?
Oh, you don't know me.
Not in these parts.
I'm Miss Montel.
Miss Martel.
Yes. I can't believe you never heard of my family before.
Never heard of no Martels.
Well, we travel around and we collect fine pieces of work like this.
Well, this here piece of work that you're so-called talking about isn't necessarily mine to give.
But why not?
Well, it's
It's certainly in your possession, isn't it?
It's collateral for someone else who owes me a fair sum of money.
Okay. And you can't say that I can't buy this fine thing off of you.
Tell me why I should sell it to you instead of keeping it for.
Because I am a distinguished lady.
Make a performance or persuasion check. Make a performance check. Add whatever the performance.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. He goes, well, this here violin, what's it worth?
I would say about 2 gold, 3 gold, 5 gold, 10, 20.
You're telling me I'm supposed to sell this to you for 20 gold?
Absolutely.
But the person that gave me this as collateral is in for at least 1,000.
Well, that they gave you a shorty thing to use as collateral.
Make a deception check.
Deception?
Sure.
19.
As well, I guess if it's only worth 20 gold and it's pretty shoddy, I guess I'll, it's not worth much collateral to me. So, here you are. And he hands you the violin.
Thank you,
Or,
good sir.
yeah, and accepts 20 gold from you. Do you have 20 gold?
So I put down 17 gold and I walk away and say thank you.
Make a sleight of hand check. See if you can stack these gold in a way that it looks higher than it is.
7.
He goes, "Hey, you!
Yes.
You've shorted me.
No, I did not.
Come over here and count it again."
We said 17 gold and there was 17 gold.
We said 20 gold.
We said 17. No one said 20.
And he nods over to one of the bouncers. And he grabs you by the arm and walks you to the table.
Excuse me, sir. Get your hands off of me.
Little girl, you owe me 3 gold.
No, sir, I do not.
I'll get my 3 gold, one way or another.
You are mistaken.
We said 20 gold. You've given me 17. Now I'll either keep your 17 gold and that violin, and you'll be on your way, or you'll need to do a little job for me.
What kind of job? I don't work for anybody.
Simple job. Run this package down the street. You'll head into another bar and give it to the bartender. Simple as that. And we'll call it even.
What kind of package is this?
This one right here. He taps on a burlap bag that's been tied together with twine, much like any Pinterest account.
I want to try to persuade him that we agreed with 17. But clearly, I don't
Your
think it's going to
deception
happen.
failed with your 4 roll earlier, and
It did.
can't just keep rolling to figure
Fine.
things out.
We'll agree to disagree, and I will take your stupid package to the stupid other bar.
Right, you will. Go on, then.
I take the package and the violin with me.
All right. So as you leave, is Cirrus waiting outside?
Mhm.
As you leave, you see Cirrus. Is there any interaction?
We have to deliver a package
You guys are gonna need to stage whisper because the
yeah.
internet can't hear you. I know they're very into character, but
So we're whispering. But do you have it? Yeah, I got it. Okay. Wait here. I have to deliver a package. Okay, what's an agreement? Okay. Meet me in that alley. Okay, after you're done. Okay, I'll run right over there.
so you head down the street
Mm-hmm.
with the package in hand
Mm-hmm. In my satchel.
in your satchel.
Mm-hmm.
You walk past a number of guards. They kind
Mm-hmm.
of give you an eerie look.
Why?
As you walk further down. Do you ask them why?
No, I don't.
Why?
Why are you looking at me?
So you walk past a number of guards that kind of give you a weird, eerie look, and then there's a pub that the individual mentioned, with a black door in front of it, and there is a individual standing outside of it. He goes, "Well, what are you doing around here?"
It's to deliver from the guy down the block.
And do you look at this package?
Pull it out of my little pouch, and I am still holding it close to me, like while I'm showing it to him.
Did he tell you any kind of words to say or password of any sort?
No, he simply said I just had to deliver this.
And what
Gave
was,
me no instructions.
what was his name?
I don't know.
Head on in. He kind of steps aside, allows you to pass. And there's a bartender, gaunt, pale skin, slimy grease, few strands of hair swiped to do a comb over. And he's leaning over and he's like, "Can I help you, little lady?"
I'm kind of like a little bit taken back. Just have a little bit of chills, and I'm like, it's fine. Yeah. I have a package to deliver for you. I hand it to him.
And this is from who I think it is.
It is.
Excellent. And he slides it underneath the bar top. Tell him we'll be in touch.
Okay. Thanks.
He goes back to washing. Apparently, as a bartender, I've never washed this many dishes that I have in my fan. Like, I've never cleaned glasses with a
With
rag.
a rag, like
It's
while
the,
you're.
it's the
Yeah.
most unsanitary way to clean a glass. It's just like,
Right.
and
Well, they're
apparently
probably not
everybody's
cleaning
doing
it.
it.
They're
fancy.
probably drying it at that point. And no, everyone just thinks that they're cleaning it.
Hey, is it in this fantasy world? They are apparently.
Sure. It's your world.
It's your world, not my world.
So.
Well, it's our world. All right. So as you leave the pub, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna head back to the other bar because I have to finish my duties, and I head over there and I walk in, and I go up to the bartender and I say, "Excuse me.
Yeah.
They said they'll be in touch."
I'm not sure what that means. Who are you, and what are you talking about?
Where is the other bartender that I was talking to?
The guy, the patron, the
Who's a patron?
yeah, just the guy in a booth.
Never mind, sir.
Oh, all right.
I got confused, and then I walk over, turn around, and I see the guy sitting right there, and I walk up to him, and I say, "The deed is done. The debt is clear," and he had said, "We will be in touch."
Well, it's a lot of work for a violin. Is it really worth that much?
I mean, it's definitely worth the 20 gold.
All right. Well, it's paid.
Thank you and good day.
Be on your way.
Yes. And I turn around.
And you turn around, you walk out, and see Cyros
And then,
kind of leaning up against the bar with his, or a wall with his fingers crossed and his right leg pinned, his foot pinned flat against the wall, looking like a cool kid against the lockers. And what do you say to Cyros?
it's like, alleyway. So we go down to the alleyway.
Speak up.
Alleyway. Okay.
You just say, I whispered.
So I whispered, alleyway.
Alleyway! Alright.
So we go down the alleyway and I pull out the violin. And I was like, I got it. I did have to pay 20 gold, but I know that your debt is worth more than that. So,
Excellent. Wait here.
okay.
Cyros goes into the tavern to talk with the person he's in debt with.
Okay. You walk up to him, and what do you say?
So, I might need an extension on collecting the remainder of my debt. I need my violin back so that I can go and perform to collect the remainder.
Well, seems to be that your violin was a little bit worth a little bit more than what you said. So I decided to sell it.
You sold it.
That I did.
For how much?
Apparently a measly 20 gold. It wasn't worth that much, was it?
20 gold. That was a Mach 3. Do you have any idea how much money that Mach 3000? I gave you that violin as collateral for my debt, which is 1,500 gold.
Whatever you want.
1,500 gold, and you sold it for 20 gold? You. I don't. How am I supposed to go and repay? You have just robbed me, sir.
Make a performance check.
$19.
He goes, well, 1,500 gold. All right. What we'll say is our debt is free and clear. Go on your way, and we'll figure that out. He leans over to one of his bodyguards, and you see him whisper at him. And that was it.
Unbelievable. This will be the last time we do any sort of business together.
Well, that's why.
Unbelievable.
So you leave the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you would like to talk with each other about?
I quickly go into the alley and I say, Orla, we need to get out of this town. They're going to be looking for you to get that violin back. I just told them I was worth way more than it is.
All right. Done. Wait, I might have a...
Come with me. And I stroke her face.
Yes. I have 2 disguise kits.
You do?
Yes, we can disguise ourselves right now. It'll help us get out of the city. Okay.
Let's do it.
So
But
you
disguise us.
disguise yourself.
Yes.
What do you disguise yourself as?
An aristocrat.
What's that look like?
They walk like this.
I have like this big like powdered wig on and this very like poofy dress.
So, just to be clear, a disguise kit doesn't change your height or anything.
No, I'm still 3 feet
So
tall.
how tall is your wig?
2 feet.
That's what I wanted. That's the answer I wanted. 100%. Great. So there is 2 feet of wig and
Yes.
3 feet of
Yeah.
Orla. Please continue describing your half wig.
And it's like a very like Renaissance era like large dress, right? And I have these super red circular like blushed out cheeks and this bright red lip.
Just one?
What do you mean? Both? I mean lips, yeah.
I don't know.
Right? Don't they say? I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know makeup.
Thank you. And so,
Boats, horses,
Just-
and makeup. That's the only three things.
and then I had Ciros dressed in a shit, what is it called? It's like a uniform, but like something that you would see in the Crown, right? Something that they very high class like uniform.
I think you
status
still call it
and
a
money.
uniform.
Sure, that's what it is.
Well, they call it a
Well,
uniform.
they call it a uniform. Yes, we're aristocrats. I don't know if that's how aristocrats even dress. I have no idea.
Sure.
In this
In this
world, they
world.
do. Yeah.
So, how do you guys get out of the town? What are you doing? You just kind of prancing about as you walk
We're just
out.
walking around and not minding our own business and not paying attention to anyone.
So you leave the outskirts of Evan Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anywhere in mind? Are you going anywhere else? Are you leaving the city? Are you leaving the...
Well, that's something I have to ask
Company.
Cyrus. Like, is
Area.
this like how far do you think that we have to go?
I know a guy on the outskirts of town that will give us safe harbor this evening. We're in the same line of work together.
Okay, perfect. And then we take our disguises, know that we're out of town.
All right. So you head out of town. You head towards the... you said... Is it a boat? You said safe harbor. Oh, that's safe
like
harbor.
a safe
That's a normal
haven,
town.
Mm.
So you head out, and there is a small farmhouse, and you approach the owner of the house, and he goes, he allows you in for the night. There's beds that you can sleep in, and you guys rest there. And what we will do is we will take a short break, and we will pick up on the adventures of Ciros and Orla in their tandem as they have left the rest of the actors of culture,
Arts
and
art
culture.
and cultures.
the Wharf Arts Center. What is it? Arts and
Art,
culture.
Arts and culture.
art and cultures.
Art
Art
and
and
cultures.
cultures.
Yep.
Art and the cultures.
That's weird.
I feel like it's like a Huey
Like
Lewis in
culture
the
is like
news.
a
Oh, you mean like back? Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk about that
later.
later. Not here. So please stick with us. We're having a good time. And
yeah.
we will be back here in about 5-10 minutes. We're just gonna use the restrooms, and we will meet back up with Orla at level 5 and see how or what happens to her in that she apparently ends up walking alone thousands of miles away from where she currently is, and how she's gonna get from point A to point B without Ciros. So we'll figure out how that happens and here in just a moment. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
and you just won't get it later.
if we're already over. Hey, welcome back to Revelry. My name is AJ, your friendly neighborhood DM, and we are sitting down with Lindsay, who plays Orla Bitterfoot, a gnome bard, and we are what?
Nothing.
All right. We are working through her backstory in this kind of like one-shot consolidated form, and we have had a very cool situation where we've kind of gone through a number of our player characters in that light, and we are walking through Orla Bitterfoot's story now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't mind giving a brief synopsis, like brief, and I'm going to cut you off if you get too long, but about what is going on and what we've encountered today.
So, Orla decided to adventure from her home village in the Morales Mountains, and she stumbled upon a town, Ebon Harbor, and she meets this group of a troop of people, and she becomes head over heels for this. What is his class? What is he?
He's a bard.
Well, he is a bard, but yes.
His species is a tiefling.
Tiefling. I'm just completely smitten by. And then I have agreed to help him settle his debts. And now we're on the run and on to the next thing, as we might be sought out since we kind of did a little scam.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you are recently took harbor in a farmhouse just outside of the city of Ebon Harbor. You, after some short time, were able to find passage across the sea and into what is the lower part of the Tyrian influence. You find yourselves in a small portside city, and as you traversed, you heard wind that there was a group of individuals being taken under servitude, to be taken under servitude, and are currently in travels across these lands to become to reach the harbor and then escape the Tyrian domain. You're trying to intercept these individuals and free those that have been kidnapped so that they can be free and the others can be put to justice. You are currently leaving the outskirts of the port city in hopes to intercept them. How would you go about doing so?
Firstly, how did we get this information?
How did you get the information, Cyros?
Well, the person that we took safe harbor from is part, and I told this to Orla by candlelight over some wine in the farmhouse. I said, Orla.
Yes, Sarah?
Such a slur.
I have not been entirely truthful with you, and I need to come clean, as you have helped me tremendously, and I burn for you. And I need to tell you everything. I am a bard, and I am also part of a secret organization that is trying to undo some of the travesties and injustices imposed on the common folk by Tito.
Welcome, Tito. I don't know if you can see him now.
By the government.
It's appropriate.
And I was talking to our host, and there is a group of common folk who have been kidnapped and are about to be forced into servitude, and it is my duty to help them, and I would like you to come with me and help, because I see all of your talents for all that they are.
A lot of information. I think the same way of you. I would love to come along, and I feel for those people, and we have to help them.
I know.
So, where do we go next?
We leave early tomorrow, and we'll be together fighting the good fight.
And what town are we going to?
Yep.
I don't have all of the details quite yet.
Okay.
But our host has told me of the port that we need to get on the ship to make the travel to our next destination, where we'll link up with another member of our group who
Okay.
will
Oh,
take us.
that's fair.
And
Put you on the spot for the city. You're
Do
gonna put
we
me on the
need
spot
to,
for an NPC.
do we need to be like in some sort of disguise, or are we gonna be like, are they gonna hide us like the person that's taking us from point A to point B? Like,
Yes, it's all very sneaky and stealthy, so
Okay.
we won't be performing quite in the same way that we have been in the city as we are on the road. But we will kind of be maintaining this charade that we are a duo of performers and musicians that are just making travel from one city to the next to make our livelihood.
just yes.
I told you, I'm more than just a pretty face.
You are. Okay. Well, we must get some rest because we have a big day tomorrow.
Yes.
So, you, after some time, you catch your ship to cross the sea and into what is the Tyran influence of the next continent closest to you. You have a moderate travel. It was set up. You're not in the hull of the ship, Titanic cold or anything like that. But you have good quarters. You're able to make your trip over some moderate amount of time, and as you approach and arrive into, let's call it oh, man, rough. Yeah. Fezra. As you arrive into Fezra, thanks for that. That's much better than you arrive into Fezra.
Yeah.
And the port city, which is Fezra. It's great because just to the north is the Anchor over here, and you are expected to intercept these individuals, or you've been told that there are those just outside of Fedra that don't mean well to others. What are your plans, and how would you go about trying to lure, trying to trap, trying to ambush, trying to trick? What are you guys trying to do?
First question. Could we get a long rest since we did all those travels? Okay.
Yeah, you've had a long rest.
Perfect.
And you've currently leveled up to level 5 now.
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get this long rest game on.
Sleeping minigame. Roll for dreams.
All right, cool. All right, that's done. Okay. So I say we find the area that these guards or these bad people are in, and we set up a performance. We can glamour them and charm them, and they'll be charmed, I think, up to an hour. And that gives us you enough time to go in and get the people, and we'll be on our way.
Positive.
And make some money out of it, maybe, at the same time.
Brilliant. Ooh, in addition to money,
Mm-hmm.
if you see any fantastic instruments, be on the lookout for any fantastic instruments
Okay.
as well, because we could always use some more of those.
I agree.
Like, there's good instruments, and then there's a great instrument that we should keep our eye on. You'll know
A
if you see
great
it.
instrument. Okay. I trust you. All right.
All right. What? So you have your glamour plan,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds like something that you would sell somebody a bunch of makeup for.
Yes.
How are
I'm
you
not prepared.
executing your glamour plan? What are you guys going to do? Like, how are you going to pursue and find this group? How are you going, like, tell me a story.
Well, I'm not familiar with the area, but what we have to find port when we're there. I'm sure that that's easy enough to spot.
Yeah, you guys
Walk
arrived in
me
the
through-
port. You're on the outskirts
Yes.
of the port, in where you are told that you're going to be intercepting this group.
I am going to use my disguise kit, and I think disguise myself as some sort of like jester. Ooh, you know what? No, I'm gonna be more like I want to say like I don't want this to seem offensive, but like gypsy like I want to have like a cloth over my face, so and bandals and things like that, and
A traveling.
yes, performance, like
Performer.
yes, exactly. Um, and I'm not really gonna sing. It's mostly gonna come from my lute. Like the music that I play is very it's super alluring. Lots of guitar. I mean, the lute that I am playing, but like the bangles that I have too, like are involved. So it's just hypnotizing almost,
Huh?
and exotic.
So, are you do you know where these individuals are, and you're approaching them as they're traveling?
Yeah, like we know where they're going to end up being. So
Okay.
we set up an area. Like
Okay.
I'm there in this area
Okay.
while he is hiding like in this bush,
Okay.
right? And then we're going to intercept that way.
Okay.
So I'm going to glamour my idea is to glamour these guards enough to be able to get the captive people out.
So, as evening falls,
Mhm.
the group of smugglers, as the group of the individuals that have kidnapped the kidnappers,
Mhm.
have now entered the I want to say vertex or precipice, but those are all like height words. But I mean the culmination of a pass,
Okay.
and forced to meet you as the narrows or the choke point of the path have come to where you are now performing. Would you like to roll a performance check for me?
I also am doing enthralling performance,
Yes.
so they will have to do. So I choose 5 creatures. How many guards are there?
There are 3 guards.
I choose each one of them. 16 for my performance, and they have to do a saving throw of 16 or higher.
Of wisdom or charisma?
Wisdom.
So, two of them pass, and one is enthralled by you. And as you walk by, there's one that stops, and you see the other two go, "Hey, Gerald! Come on, let's keep moving." He's like, "Well, do you guys see the show? Pretty great." And as you're continuously playing, "Oh, come on, let's go." Did you roll a performance check yet?
16.
The carts pass. Gerald is enthralled and charmed by you. And the other two are moving with the carts. They are on horseback. One is driving a horsed cart. The other two on horseback. Gerald is on horseback, not a part of the cart. It has stopped as they're traversing with this cart full of individuals, or so-called individuals. It's a covered wagon, but you don't necessarily know what's inside. The information that you've sourced has told you that.
Mm.
What would you like to do?
I'm going to peek around my shoulder to where Syros is like right behind. I know where he's at, and I'm going to say like, "Watch me." And I'm going to look at Gerald, and I'm going to say, "Gerald, since he is charmed by me," say, "I really need you to scare those horses. It would mean the world to me if you could."
He goes, I'll do my best. Anything for the lady. He rolls a natural 3 against a natural 17 and a natural 20. So the horses are not scared of Gerald's going, "Booga, booga, booga. Oh, go and get. Go. Go. Ah. The lady said so."
And I'm just like, "Gerald, you need to get your friends off of those horses for me. It would mean the world to me. You have to."
You notice that the two guards have stopped and turned back, looking at Gerald, and they say, "Hey, what's going on here? You, lady, what have you done to Gerald?" "All right, this sounds fishy."
I haven't done anything to your friend. I am merely a performer traveling these parts.
Make a persuasion check.
15 plus 6, 21.
You see the guards kind of think about your response for a moment. "Well, if you're traveling, go on and travel. On your way."
You are the one passing through here right now. I simply stopped to perform as I saw travelers passing, and I will continue on my way.
"Yeah, well, continue on your way and we'll do ours. And
You do
you've
the
performed
same.
already. Congrats." Gerald's like, "You guys were great.
Thank you, Gerald.
I'm so happy you stopped for us to perform. And it's just been delight. And I'm very happy that you are all able to just be on the road." Big fan. Huge fan.
See, your friend seems to like me.
That you're saying yes in Spanish.
See.
See, your friend seems to like me. He goes, "Yeah, well, not sure what's wrong with Gerald, but seems a bit iffy. Come on, Gerald. Let's go." They try to move along the caravan of sorts. Would would you like to do? You're welcome to jump in too. You don't need to feed off of her. What would Cirrus do? WWSD.
Cirrus is gonna come out from the bushes with his fiddle, and he is going to make an enthralling performance. Start fiddling.
What's his DC throw? Save throw?
Or 13 or higher. And if they fail, they're charmed for same as Lindsay.
One fail.
One
The other
fail?
is
The next is charmed.
the next is charmed. He goes, hey, it's a pretty good show, Gerald, I get it. And the one that's not charmed, he goes, Derek, what in the hell are you doing? And Derek and Gerald are now charmed.
I'm going to cast Charm Person
Alright.
on the one that is not charmed.
Roll initiative. This guy is now suspicious enough that he's going to roll initiative.
Oh my gosh. What is happening?
8.
Rolled a 2 for a 5.
Cool. Okay. Give me one moment to look something up real quick.
Yes.
Gerald rolled Reginald rolled he rolled an 18. So he's definitely going first.
But he has to go before I do Charm Person.
Yes.
Mm.
Because you were now taking actions aside from like you start incanting, like things and like making somatic gestures and saying spells out loud. You're attacking.
True. Okay.
It's not subtle. And I would say it'd be different if it was subtle, like, and you were trying to be stealthy about it, but you have their attention pretty blatantly. So, the first one is going to say, he's going to look over at you and goes, none of that miss, and he's going to throw his spear at you.
Jeez.
And he is going to 13 is a hit.
If it meets, it beats.
If it meets, it beats. He launches his spear at you and hits you for 4 damage.
6. All right.
He draws his broadsword and looks over at the others and goes, hey, snap out of it! Cirrus, it's your turn.
How far away am I from this guard that is not charmed?
You're probably about 10 feet away.
Okay. I'm going to move to be right upon him, and I am going to stab him with my dagger for an 8 to hit.
Does not hit.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action for 2-weapon fighting and try and stab him with the other dagger. A 10 to hit.
Nope.
Not a very good fighter.
You dagger it out, much like Garnet would, but you're not. So you're like, daggers! Yes, the guard is able to bat you away with his shield and looks over at you. Orla, what would you like to do?
The other 2 are still charmed, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to look at the one that is not charmed, and I am going to cast Charm Person at 3rd level. And I attempt, they must make a wisdom saving throw of 16 or higher.
16? Mm-hmm. Yep. They beat that.
They did?
Yeah. You rolled an 18.
Mm-hmm. So then I'm just going to whisper. But it's like, it's not quite a whisper. Like, I just say in a loving tone to Syros, like, bardic inspiration. And I give Syros some bardic
So
inspiration.
you shout Bardic Inspiration
Yes.
in a loving tone,
Yes.
giving Cyros Bardic Inspiration.
Yep.
It is now the guard's turn. He trots over and bumps one of the other guards with his shield and goes, snap out of it! And the guard snaps out of their turn.
No.
The other guard, at the beginning of their turn, rolled a 12. What is it? What was the enthralling performance? 13? This guard of wisdom.
Yes.
Plus 0 on their wisdom, so they do not beat it. So the other is still charmed, but one has broken out. That being the one's move, the one that now is just broken out of their charm rolls a 18 to hit, throwing his spear at Orla. And hits for d6 plus 1, 6 damage.
Okay.
Okay. Cyros, you're up.
I am going to move towards the guard that hurt Orla. And I know, very. I'm gonna take 2 stabs with the daggers. 16 to hit for the first one,
Beats it beats.
Okay.
and 21 to hit for the second. He's
Definitely also
angry
hits.
now.
He angry.
3 damage for the first one,
Cool.
5 damage for the second. So 8 total piercing damage.
All right. Gaga.
Don't you hurt her.
Orla, you're up.
Are these guards wearing any kind of like metal armor?
They are.
I'm gonna cast heat metal on the one that is closest to me
Okay.
to heat their metal armor.
Yes. And what does heat metal do for them?
If a creature is holding or wearing the object and takes the damage from it, the creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or drop the object if it can. If it doesn't drop the object, it has disadvantage in attack rolls and ability checks until the start of their next turn.
What is the save?
It doesn't say.
This is against your spell DC, which is 16,
My
you
spell
said?
DC?
Yeah.
Where does that say?
Should say at the top of your spell casting. There we go. Like if you go to your spells, at the top, that slide.
Oh, 16.
16? Alright. So, he does not beat, and his metal starts heating up. What did you say? He's at disadvantage of his...
Attack rolls until his next turn. Let me find
Alright.
it again. Hang on. So it was attack rolls and ability checks until the start of the next turn. Yeah.
Oh.
But then they also, it says 2d8 fire damage, so they also take damage.
If that's what it says, yeah.
Isn't that what that means?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get out of that. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. 2d8 fire damage. Is that a d8? Yep. I'm still learning.
It's only been...
Why?
It's only been a year
It's only been a year. It's fine.
of playing relatively every week.
6 damage of fire.
Alright.
Fire.
6 damage. Excellent. So you see this metal starting heating up, and it's making him terribly uncomfortable for a moment. And it starts, it's like, get it off! Get it off! And is currently burning his skin as the chainmail is attached to him, and probably relatively difficult to get off in a rush. So Derek is very uncomfortable. Reginald is it's actually his turn. So he is going to he threw his spear already, so he's going to swipe at Cyros with his long sword. Is it 16 hit?
Yep.
I believe the long sword's a D8. Yeah, it's a D8 or a D10. Does... Oh, come on. It does 4 damage. And the other one is going to take a... What's up?
Can I use my reaction?
You can.
I'm gonna cast Hellish Rebuke on whatever his name was. Reginald.
Reggie.
So I point my finger at him, and flames surround him. And do 23 damage if he does not save on a 13 DC saving throw.
Of what? What's the con, dex?
Dexterity saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw. He rolled a 15. So he
Damn it.
saves that. What was the damage?
So he gets half of 23.
Half of 23 is 11. Alright. The other one is going to take an attack at Orla with a... it was a natural 20, but because he's at disadvantage, he rolled a 17, which was also pretty good. And he swipes at you, dealing 8 damage.
Okay. Ouch.
All right. And then I believe at the beginning of their turn, they get to try to de-charm.
Let me see. Determine if you die within the blood. Let's make the same through and does so with advantage of the commands of fighting. We'll do that ahead of time.
What?
If it fails a saving throw, it is charmed by you until the end of the spell or until you or your companions do anything harmful to it.
Oh.
The charmed creature regards you as a friendly acquaintance. When the spell ends, the creature knows it has been charmed by you. They don't have to continue to make that saving throw. But if it has been attacked...
Is it a concentration spell? Oh no, it's a charm.
No, it's an action, yeah.
So they've
And it's up to an hour.
so that's why he shield bashed Reginald. Or Derek. Reginald shield bashed Derek. I hear all the games. And Gerald is still charmed because he's yet to take damage.
Yes.
So it is now Cirrus's turn.
Who's closer to me? Derek?
Sure.
Sure. I'm gonna stab you.
You stab at Derek.
Stab at Derek. 15 to hit.
Oh, it does not hit. He blocks it with his
You
shield.
bastard.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to cast Mantle of Inspiration, so Orla gets 5 temporary hit points.
Alright. And she can use her reaction to move up to
Yup.
half of her speed.
Yep, without provoking opportunity attacks.
She likes to run away.
I have the opportunity to run away?
You can use your reaction this round to move your speed anywhere you want on the battlefield. I mean, that's a little bit more strategic, minis kind of thing, but if you'd like to run from one to the other, you're free to do so without provoking an opportunity attack.
Who am I closest to right now?
You are closest to Reginald.
I'm gonna get who's the one that's charmed?
Oh, Gerald.
I'm gonna get closest to Gerald.
I like how I can say Gerald, but it has no context to you. You're just like looking for a name. You're
Yeah.
like, what's this person's name? Oh, Phil. It's nice to meet you, Phil. And then you walk away. You're like, oh, cool. Thanks for making that easy.
I'm gonna join Gerald's party because he seems more fun to be around.
So you walk over to Gerald and what? Do you just head out by him?
Because it's not my turn.
Oh,
I can't,
yeah.
I can't necessarily say anything.
Zeros. Do anything else? Movement or anything? That was your bonus in your attack, right?
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm good.
Orla, you're up. Hanging out next to Jer.
Who's still charmed by me, right?
Yes.
I'm going to say, you should, Gerald, make your friends prone.
Okay. Let me look up charm real quick. Because I doubt you can give him commands.
Doesn't say anything. It says control.
All right. Let's
And I'm going to say to him, those guys are bad. They're not our friends. And we need your help. We need your help to make them.
roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Nat 20 plus 6, 26.
He goes, well, yeah, they're my friends too, but did you ask him to hurt them, to knock them prone? And
Just knock them prone. That's
and
it.
then what did you ask? Do you have a second one?
No. I just said that they're bad people. Like they are.
Yeah, well, sorry. Yeah, well, can't hurt the bad people, but they're bad. And despite a nat 20, he's not gonna attack his friends. Because it's just you charming him. I don't know. It might suck, but it's my ruling. So
Fine.
it's not even command. You can't command somebody else to attack somebody else. That's dominate person. That's a whole other level.
Would you agree then that wasn't my turn since I'm still in combat?
Technically, you roll an ability check.
Fine.
Would you like
Gerald
to move, or
is
you have a
not gonna-
bonus action?
Gerald does not hurt me. Let's see.
Yeah, Chair Bear is good. You guys are tight.
Bonus action.
What you got?
I am gonna give another. Have you used your bardic inspiration yet?
No, not yet. I forgot about it. I should have used it last.
No, it's good. That's about it.
All right. So the first guard goes, "Hey, Gerald, snap out of it!" and throws a rock at him. Hits him, and Gerald snaps out of it.
How? Where is that in the rules?
What?
It's your world. I'm sorry. I'm a little
He
bit.
hit him.
I'm
and
angry.
it hurt him,
True.
and he took damage.
No.
So he snapped out of it. Is the rules?
Rules is rules.
Yeah.
You have to know the rules.
If you
Maybe they've seen this before. Maybe they know you're up to your. Y'all know. Yeah. Well, not tomfoolery, but Derek, Gerald, and Reginald.
Foolery, yeah.
So, as Reginald threw the rock, that was his turn. Derek is going to attack Cyros, who's closest to him. His longsword of a 12 plus 5.
8, 17?
Because of math, yeah.
Yep.
Alright, cool.
Yep.
One on the damage, so it's a 4 total.
Oh,
damage.
okay.
Sorry.
All right. I was like,
So plus 3.
that's 1 of 4. Okay.
All right. So, I'm trying to get the names right. Gerald, now that he's come to himself, looks over at you. He goes, "You." And he jabs down at you with his spear. It's got 19.
Me?
Yes.
Yes, that hits.
Yes. And deals. What was the spear? There's a D6. Dealing 3 damage.
All right.
All right. And then Gerald, Reginald, and Derek have all gone. Sirius is up.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna shoot a crossbow arrow at Gerald.
Roll it.
And I'm gonna use my inspiration. Motherfucker. All right, 11 to hit.
Misses.
And then with my bonus action, I'm gonna look at Orla and say, you inspire me. I don't know.
So you inspire me, and you have a 1d6.
Yeah.
1d6 inspiration. Orla, you're up.
Okay, so I'm gonna look right at Gerald because now he sucks, and I am going to cast Dissonant Whispers. And I'm gonna be like, it's a very, very old native tongue of like my family. That's just like this.
It's like Gnomish Orthodox.
Even older.
All right.
Older. Which I don't know that would be.
All right.
But
Sorry if that, I didn't mean for that to be offensive.
I hope it wasn't.
Old method of terminology.
So I believe that they have to make a wisdom saving throw of 16. I whisper a discordant melody.
What does it sound like? Sounds like the Little Mermaid. All right. So
That's out of the vault, right?
yeah. Hashtag out of the vault. So yeah, you cast this, and what is the save?
Target must make a wisdom saving throw of 16 or higher.
Natural 20.
These
The
cards.
creature on a successful save, the target takes half as much damage and doesn't have to move away. A deafened creature automatically succeeds, but they're not deafened anyways. So I have to do 3d6, and then you take half of it. So it was a 5. So 2.
So 2. Yeah.
Why do you have to take the lower?
Alright. Derek is going to look over at you, and after these dissonant whispers, swipe down at you, dealing.
Why does he get to swipe down at me?
Because he hit a natural 20.
Is it his
Swipes
reaction?
down at you. What?
Is it his?
No,
Oh,
it's his
his turn. Oh, okay.
He rolled a natural 20. For a 15 points of damage. Reginald. It's a natural 2, swiping at Ceros. And Derek, swiping at Orla, hits a natural 20. for a total of 7 points of damage.
I want my death saving throws.
You're out of health. Alright. So you're unconscious. What would you and that was the last of their turns. Sirius, what would you like to do?
Alright, can
Come
I
on, Sirius,
guess?
you might have had spells that I was unaware of you picking.
Oh,
So if you want to go through that real quick and maybe schmeal and schmurd or
I was-
something like that.
gonna cast Mantle of Inspiration.
Oh
to
yeah,
give
you
her
had your
5.
+5, right?
But
Did you get your +5 all points from Mantle and for Inspiration?
no.
Okay. So are you still up?
So yeah, I don't know how to go back though.
Just give yourself health.
How? Because I'm on death saves. Okay, here we go. So then I would just give myself 5.
Yeah, and then
And give yourself another 5 because I'm gonna cast Mantle of Inspiration again.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Right? So you can have 10 temporary hit points.
Oh, it's 10 temporary.
Well, total, but minus the 5. All right, so you are at +5 or whatever. How negative were you?
I was at 2 health points,
You just took 5.
and then I
damage.
just took 7 damage.
So you're at 5. So you were at 0 health points. You were still unconscious.
Yes.
All right. So your Mantle of Inspiration doesn't
cancel.
do anything. Would you like to do anything else, like a spell that I've never picked for Cyros or anything else like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see here. What's a good spell? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We are going to use where are all the healing things?
They all start with the word healing.
No, there's heat metal and hold person.
Yeah, there was some that I couldn't find on there too. Not good though.
Is that a healing word for a bard?
I didn't have mass healing. I didn't have the option for the mass
Mass
healing.
healing words are healing.
Healing word.
Mass healing word is one of the new like Tasha's Cauldron ones.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't know if we turned that on for you for your like
I don't think we
super
did.
fast made character
Yeah.
for level 1.
That's okay.
And I will pick the other spells. at a
Tasha's
later
wasn't
time.
released during this time. That's what.
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was way
Yeah. It released around when you guys
met.
started meeting.
Exactly.
Alright, I just added it. Where are you? Alright, I cast healing
Yeah.
word.
Roll a d4 plus your spell. What's your charisma modifier? Sure.
Yeah. Alright.
Schmarisma.
Schmarisma.
7.
7. You regain 7 health points
Hell yes.
as Cyros brings you back to
So
life.
actual healing. Right?
Correct. Cyros, do you have an action? Because I believe healing word is a bonus action.
Ooh. Oh, well, I cast Bardic something mantle.
Yeah.
Should I
We're gonna
not-
retroactively not do that.
Okay.
Cast healing word because she was still down, and that wouldn't have done anything for her.
Got it. Okay. So I did that. And then I am going to shoot Gerald again.
Yeah, get him.
15 to hit, which doesn't hit, right?
It does not.
Okay.
They're not looking so hot, by the way. But yeah.
Well, that's good. And that will end my turn.
All right, Orla, you're up.
I am going to use Misty Step to get as close to the cart of people as possible.
All right.
To up to the door
Yep.
of where they're locked
Where the
at.
lock is. Cool. So you Misty Step. And, what does your Misty Step look like?
So I kind of turned like the fae that had touched me, like my ancestors, or the little creatures,
Yeah.
like in the beginning, like when they had been demolished, like they went into like snow. That's what happens to me when I disappear, and then snow happens when I reappear.
So a poop of powdery snow erupts and encompasses Orla, and as it falls, she's gone. And then you see the same poof of snowy, powdery snow. Snowy snow. That's when you know you're English major? I don't know, whatever. Snowy snow snows around your snow, and you apparate within this snowy dust. Where are you going?
Oh shit. So I guess I
We
can't.
give 30 feet.
So it's still considered an action.
Misty said?
Oh, it doesn't actually count against my. I don't think it is an action. Because I think it can be considered as a bonus action. So I would.
No, you get a use.
One use of it. But is that
One
still
use of it,
considered an
no.
action?
No. It's a bonus action.
Okay, cool. So I would like to then try to break the lock and open the door of the carriage.
You're trying to break the lock? What are you trying to break the lock with?
Could I use another spell?
If you think you
Is it a metal lock?
Yes.
I would like to use heat metal.
Heat metal. Casting heat metal, and you are roll 2d8. That's your heat metal, right?
I'm doing it at 3rd level.
At 3rd level.
So
roll
3d8.
your 3d8.
One of these. One of these. This one's very low, right?
It's a d10.
And then these two.
Those are also d10. One of those is.
What?
You see how one of those things is not like the other?
Oh, yes. Here we go. Right? Yeah. 6, 10.
10 damage. You see the lock start to warm, and it gets red, and then a portion of it starts to droop, and then the other half droops, and it melts away around the opening and falls to the ground, cooling itself in the colder earth below it. The lock is off of the lock hole. Man, I feel like I did really good until I just said
That was.
So the lock is off the lock hole. The people are.
I'm going to open the door,
Right.
like with my hand to the back of it, like this.
This is so hot. So you're doing.
No, I was trying to not. Oh, I guess I'm facing it, so I'm going to, like, just burst it open.
Oh, you thought you're facing.
Yeah.
You can face it. You should. Yeah. So,
Okay.
the door swings open. This is my roll. All right. What? That's your turn. Bonus.
I'm going to
You
say,
moving?
get out.
Are you moving?
I'm going to move towards the. Shit. No, I'm not going to move.
Okay. So you don't move.
Mm-mm.
Standing next to the open gate.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, you have Reginald, who is going to run up towards Cyros, swiping with his sword. Rolls a natural 3. Doesn't matter how many plus. There's no way it's going to happen. Derek runs up and swings at Orla with a 12.
Does not hit.
And Gerald rolls a natural 8. So,
Nope.
throwing a spear. And all 3 of them miss. Cool. They head towards and away from the people and the reinforcement that you have now. And the people rolled a 10 going next on their initiative. You see a small group of individuals, 10, 12 people probably, emerge from the cage. They were cramped in there. It was a weird, creepy little cage that was in a covered wagon. There were far too many people in there. And you see the first person to emerge, and they reach down, and they pick up a stick to act as a club. And they go, get him! And you have... so many dice.
Oh my gosh.
They start hurling rocks and they start charging towards them. And you see Gerald go, "Oh, this isn't worth it!" And he trots off this chair. It's like a bouncy chair. It's like kind of perfect. He starts trotting off, and then yeah. He takes off. The others turn and run, and the people are throwing rocks after them as they leave, trying to hit them as they get out. And you have freed the people without taking your bruises. You are still a little hurt. And after which they're much appreciated. They say, "Thank you very much. We're so happy. Thank you. You saved our lives."
It's our pleasure. And it was our duty. We are here for the underdogs.
Thank you. You are truly heroes of the realm.
Well, I guess we can help you get to where you need to be. We do have this carriage, but we won't obviously make you.
Well, we're gonna head right into town. This was all going to be under, in the darker alleys anyway. The town watch will protect us from there. Thank you. And again, you're on the outskirts of town, so it's going to be like, they all head into town and they're welcome with open arms. It's not going to be
Right.
The town isn't malicious.
Right. It was those people that were taking them through that area.
Jerry, Reggie, and Derek.
To get them to a boat.
Yes. So, what would you all like to do? What would you two like to do?
I would like to go into town and get some good. What time of day is it?
It is night.
Okay,
You
I
guys
need
should
to
probably
sleep.
make camp instead.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. So let's make camp and so we can get some rest. And I know we're both like hurt from battle. Like,
Where are your
we
health
need
points?
to 7.
13.
Huh? You guys rest up near a tree. What do you guys like to do? Anything for your rest or anything like that?
Like make a fire.
Okay.
Let me see if I have. I mean, we're gonna regain our hit points anyways. But I just like see us both like, I don't know. I think I might be too hurt to even be playing any instruments right now.
Okay.
I think I just have to curl up and.
I reach out and stroke Orla's face and cast Cure Wounds.
So
And she gets 13 more hit points.
as Orla is on the edge of consciousness, her head laying in your lap, you cast Cure Wounds as you stroke the side of her face, and she falls asleep in your arms. As the night happens and night falls, you guys are against a tree, having made camp, a small fire, some shelter. I'm assuming you're taking first watch
Yes.
as she has fallen asleep in your lap.
Mm-hmm.
Make a perception check for me.
8.
All right. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Nat 20 for 21.
All right. I do roll the nat 20. What? Yep. So, oh man, what is your wisdom modifier?
+1.
Okay. You hear, as you are caressing small Orla, you hear the sound of a violin playing in the distance. You hear the music start to grow, and the violin, a flow and melody, beautiful and growing. You're drawn towards it. And because of the nat 20 off, you lose to the +1, which is close. This song draws you, and you stand up, drawn to the music. Orla left by the trunk of the tree, sleeping silently. You are moving through the fields and the grasses towards the forest where the music comes from. And as you walk into the forest, the tree's bark glows and glimmers. And as you step between trees, you vanish. The next morning, Orla rises. Alone.
I wake up and Zeros? Zeros?
There's no answer.
Zeros!
A small cart passes, heading north.
Zeros?
No one responds.
I start to frantically start walking the path towards town, thinking that maybe they went to get breakfast.
Make a perception check.
4 plus 3, 7.
You start panicking, heading towards where you think is town, following the cart to the north. You end up following the cart for miles. And miles. And miles. You eventually come to a bridge, exhausted. As you cross the bridge, you see a large, bustling city to your north. A small farm to your northeast. And a small lone tree with a campfire to the direct east of you. Judge,
I'm gonna head towards the campfire.
as you walk towards the campfire, day breaks. The sun rises. You see the soft orange glow of the sun rising up just beyond the dale to the east. You see a rather large individual gathering his things next to the fire, and a small individual approaching you from the north. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Aww.
Did you guys have fun?
So good. That was so good.
Poor little heartbroken Orla.
Shit. And then I come up and I'm
I'm
like,
so
I come up, I'm like,
I feel like I'm so close
I'm
to making
Olra.
you cry. And that's like my life's goal. Just terrible.
F you.
Dude, that's your wife.
Yeah, I know.
Well, fine.
Holy shit,
Guys,
guys! All right, cool. Thank you all very much. Yeah, nailed that.
Yep.
Thank you all very much for watching.
Thank
We
you.
will be here Sundays, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to catch up on what's going on with Orla, if you'd like to catch up on what's going on with the rest of the game, Narnet, Marxus, and Kata, feel free to check us out. We do have a backlog of all of our videos on YouTube, and we stream weekly.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday. And we will be streaming from here, our studio, in the very, very
From
near future.
here,
So we're very excited for that. Thank you all very much for watching. If you'd like to stick around, we are going to have a hangover, and that's kind of our after show, kind of talk about what's going on, how your characters felt, how you can learn as a human being playing a character in real life, and all the facts, the things that I learned during the session as a DM, and different things that we can kind of share with everyone else. So please stick around. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with that as a separate stream here in just a moment. So yeah, please follow us. Check us out. Check us out on Twitter. And yeah, if you enjoyed the show and consider supporting, please just follow us on Twitch. It would do a lot for us. So yeah, thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
guys.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Bye.